Good evening, everyone. This is Moshe Frank with Frank News, streaming from the Levium Art Gallery. Tonight we have a very special guest, a very timely guest for these crazy financial COVID-19 times. We have a special guest, Chaim from helpmebuildcredit.com. And Chaim will tell us, do we have to pay our credit cards, car loans, and home loans, mortgages? And he will walk us through and help us out, right, Chaim?
Yes, hi. Thanks, Moshe. Thanks for having me here on Frank News. My pleasure being with you.
So far.
Yeah.
We'll see if the pleasure still exists by then.
Yeah, I hope you won't be too tough on this.
So Chaim, let's start with the credit card, because that's what most people have. What happens if I don't pay my credit card, and what's my credit card payment options during COVID-19? And is the government involved at all?
Right. Okay. Yes. So first, before we start to discuss any of these programs, hardship programs, forbearance programs, it's very important to know that these programs are only going to help people that call in the bank before they are late on the payments. If you did not call the bank before you're late on the payments, and if you did not join one of these programs before you're late on the payments, everything's going to be regular, and your payments are going to be reported late. Just today, someone reached out to me and he asked me, how is it that I have a late payment? It's COVID-19, this whole situation. I saw all over the news that banks are not reporting late. And I asked him, did you join the program? And he said, no, I did not. And yes, and he had a late payment on his report because he forgot to call in, or he wasn't informed to call in to the bank to join the program. You have to call in to join. If you do not call in, any of these programs are not available. That's okay.
Even though I'm sure these lines are probably very long wait times during COVID. No.
Yes. The banks do have very long wait times. They're understaffed. They do get a lot of calls, but you got to do what you got to do. You have to speak to a representative. You have to be in touch. Although there are banks that set it up online as well. You could do it over the phone, or you could do like through an automated system, or you could do it online. Chase has set up online. A lot of other banks have set up that you could do it online as well. You don't have to actually speak to a representative, but you have to somehow be in contact with the bank and join the program. Should it be online? Should it be by phone? You have to join the program.
So let's start with credit cards, Chaim. What's the options for credit cards? Are all the credit cards being nice or not nice? What's the options? And if you miss a payment, how does it affect your credit? And all the great information.
Right. Okay. So most banks did offer some type of waiver for the next few months due to the situation. And Chase has waived 3 months payments. American Express has waived 3-month payments. Discover has waived. Most of the banks did waive payments. There are some that waived interest as well. That makes a big difference because let's say Chase did not waive interest. So even if you don't have to make the minimum payment, they won't report it as late, but they will charge you interest for the balance during these 3 months. So now not only do you have to pay interest on the entire balance, you have to pay now interest on the minimum payment as well, because you're not going to be making even that minimum payment as well. So that's important. On the other side, it's also important because American Express that did waive interest is a lot of people could afford to make the minimum payment, but they're paying already years and years interest on their credit card bills. And they get now a free shot the next 3 months. They don't have to pay interest. I know a lot of people that after I posted it on my website, they thanked me that they just now saved a couple of $100s of interest, which they would have paid American Express anyway. So even if they didn't want to join the program to save on the minimum payment, they were able to join the program just to save on the interest. Now, it's also important to note, when it comes to the credit cards, these programs are not government regulated. It's the banks are offering it voluntarily. So yeah, so these first of all, it makes a big it's a difference between the banks. Every bank has different options that they offer, and you have to be careful to make sure.
So you mentioned Chase America. What about Citi, Capital One?
Yes, Citi, Capital One also offered to delay payments for the next few months.
But you have to pay interest.
No. Let me double check that. The terms Capital One is offering to waive the minimum payments and interest. Capital One's waiving interest. Discover is waiving interest. Apple Card is waiving interest. American Express is waiving interest. Bank of America is waiving interest. We got. You asked about Citi. Yeah, Citi. I'm not sure if they were waiving interest or not.
Now, if you don't call in and you make a late payment, it will affect your credit, correct?
Yes. If you don't call, that's very important. It will affect your credit.
What about your electric bill? Does that affect your credit if you pay late, or it's not reported to the credit bureau?
So electric bills, on-time payments don't get reported. Late payments also don't get reported to the credit bureaus. But if you don't pay your electric bill after a while, it will be sold to a collection company, and they probably will report it on your credit report. So yes, not paying electric bill could end up hurting your credit. I have no word of now being different than any other time. I think on Edison said they won't shut off electric now, but I'm not sure about the payments, if they're waiving payments or not.
What about cell phone bills? Do those get reported to the credit bureau?
Cell phone is the same thing. On-time payments usually don't get reported. Late payments also usually don't get reported. But if you are late and it ends up getting sold to a collection agency, then that will be reported. Although it's important that certain banks do report cell phone issuers do report even late payments to the credit bureaus. Sprint will do it. There's several others that will do it.
Very interesting. I wasn't planning on talking about cell phones, but you seem to know everything, so I'm just going everywhere. I'm going wild here today.
One more thing I wanted to point. Yeah.
One more thing before I think we jump to auto. Is it true that a lot of credit card companies are cutting people's credit limits?
Oh, that's exactly what I wanted now to point out. Yeah. Oh. So there is some consequences of joining these programs, because you could get your rewards frozen. Some people reported that. Most did not, but some people did report getting their rewards frozen, and some did say that their credit limits were cut in half or whatever. They lowered their credit limits, and sometimes they froze the card, that they couldn't make any purchases anymore on the card, which is understandable. You are joining a hardship program, so you are basically saying that you're having a hardship now. So it's very understandable for them to take action and try to save whatever they could still save by freezing your card or by cutting your credit limit.
Great. So let's now jump on to the next category of car loans. Leasing car loans. Is that the same thing or different?
Leasing and auto loans are somewhat the same thing, yeah.
Okay, so let's say you have a car loan. I know my bank told me I don't have to pay for 3 months, but I do have to pay interest. Is that all across the board, or it depends on the bank?
So which car do you have?
I have Ally Bank.
Ally Bank? It's not. No, I heard of Toyota that they are waiving 2 to 3 months maybe payments. We got Honda that's waiving payments. That's the Chaim drives a lot of these cars. Toyota, Honda, they are waiving payments for next 2 months, which is also, it's pretty much cash in the pocket. It's because they are basically waiving. You don't have to make the lease payments. They might roll it over to the end of the lease, but in either case, you are getting another 2 months to your lease, which for free technically. So it's a good thing to take advantage of the situation now maybe, and just call up and join one of these programs as you're getting you could possibly get 2 months free. 2 months free.
I'm sorry, back to the credit cards. If you don't pay these 2 months, will they put at the end of the bill, or are they going to make you balloon payment after 3 months?
No, after 3 months, everything goes back to normal. You have your minimum payments. Minimum payments are usually, depends on the credit card issue, but usually 1%.
The loan back at the end of the loan.
I don't know if you want to consider the end of the loan, beginning of the loan. It's minimum payments. Minimum payments are usually 1% of the balance. So whatever the balance is going to be at that point, that's going to be your minimum payment.
And car payments after 3 months, you're going to have, listen, my car payment is $300 a month. Does that mean in 3 months from now, I'm going to have to pay $900 at once, or I'm just going to have to pay 300 again? The loan gets longer.
The loan gets longer.
Okay.
So technically, with the car, you're getting your car for another. Let's say for a car lease, you're getting your car for another 2 months.
Right. Okay. Jump now. Just if we could just pop in one thing. Is that true that car payments is good for your credit more than anything else, or it's not true?
I wouldn't say that's accurate. So
Oh,
let's put it down like this. Credit is built on a lot of factors. One of the factors of that being is a credit mix, which means you're like, they want to see you be able to juggle a few types of loans, which will be revolving loans, installment loans, mortgage loans. So they want to see like a mix of several type of loans. Now,
so the
auto
bigger the
loan
mix,
auto
the
loan
bigger
would
the mix,
help
the
out.
better.
Yeah, the bigger the mix, the better, right? So auto loan would help you in making the tune a better tune, like the mix being somewhat a bigger mix, exactly. But in general, a credit card is the best way to build credit. Revolving credit lines have the most significant effect on the credit score. So
Gotcha.
basically, they look at a home loan, a car loan, like you're making your payments. They see you making payments because if not, you're gonna lose your house. You're making payments because you don't want to lose your car. Technically, with a credit card, if you don't make a payment, nothing happens, right? So anybody paying their credit cards are because they're just an honest guy and they want to pay their bills. So that's why FICO considers that as the biggest factor.
Very interesting. Okay, moving on to the next category is home. And let's start with renting in terms of affecting your credit score, and then we'll jump onto the last thing, which is mortgages. So for renting your house, in terms, obviously you should pay your rent if you can. Legally, I don't believe they can evict, the other lawyers said for 3, the eviction process cannot start until after the next 3 months, and they're not allowing the courts to work anyway if it's non-essential. Does not paying your rent on time affect your credit?
Not paying rent on time would not affect your credit. No, I've never seen it affect credit. 99% of the time, a landlord can't report your late rent payments to the credit bureaus. Anything that's reported to the credit bureaus has to be under the compliance of the FCRA. Landlords don't comply, or they don't know how to comply with FCRA. It's you have to be pre-vetted by the credit bureaus to be able to report to them. Most landlords do not have that capability, or I've never seen a landlord that has the capability of reporting late payments to the credit bureau.
Okay, now let's talk about mortgages for your home and then commercial mortgages. I'm assuming it's different. I don't know.
Right. So as far as personal mortgages, in other words, non-commercial, that we have the CARES Act. We have certain protections. I am not sure. We could ask a mortgage broker, but I'm not sure that is the same for business mortgages or commercial mortgages.
Okay, so what's the rule? Same thing, 3 months?
Okay, yeah. So with mortgages, there's now a forbearance program which is under the CARES Act, and that depends. The CARES Act gave you 3 months, yes, but there is these Freddie Mac that are giving you up to 12 months. So it will technically depend on who owns your mortgage, but you should reach out to your servicer and ask the exact terms on your loan, what they're ready to offer. And yeah, it could be anywhere between 3, 6, or 12 months.
And do you have to pay interest?
So I believe that interest is basically accumulated annually. I believe that it doesn't stop to accumulate on these 3 months.
Okay, so I think we covered everything: car, cell phone, credit card, mortgages, right? Did we miss anything, Chaim?
No, I think we pretty much covered. Just I wanted to point out about forbearance, which is extremely important. Before joining a forbearance program, which is for a mortgage, you have to. First of all, the rules are keeping on changing every day, in the terms of when you're gonna have to make the payments, if it's gonna be say a loan modification. So you would want to discuss it with your mortgage broker first. There's also with a mortgage, obviously, accept credit, which we just now discussed. You may have 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. There is also possibly some mortgage consequences of joining one of these programs. You might not be able to refinance your mortgage for 12 months or up to 24 months. These things should be best discussed with a mortgage broker before you join a program. you have to be proactive. You have to know what you're doing. So it's a big decision what you're making. It might have pretty significant consequences. So you want to ask your credit guy, as you just did, but you want to also talk to a mortgage broker to make sure that mortgage-wise you're also doing a smart thing.
Okay, so this is Chaim Geller and Moshe Frank from Frank News. Chaim Geller of HelpMeBuildCredit.com. And Help Me Build Credit is just a free resource for credit, Chaim? Credit information?
Yes, we provide, it's a free credit educational source that people could come up and. Yes, we have credit information, credit cards information, and you can sign up through our site.
Thank you so much, Chaim. Thank you for your time in these crazy financial times.
Yeah, Moshe, just one more thing before I let you go.
Yeah.
I'm still on?
Yeah, you're still on.
Before I let you go, just one more thing. We want to make sure that anybody that joins any of these programs, as we discussed, you have to call first. That we already discussed, but also it's strongly recommended to get any of these terms that you made up with the issuer or with the lender. You should get these terms in writing. As if Chas v'Shulam, it's messed up by us, it's messed up by them. So if Chas v'Shulam something goes wrong, if you weren't entered the program properly, or if they do report any lates on your credit report, you should have it in writing. That would be the easiest way to get out of the mess if Chas v'Shulam something happens.
I would say, B'chlal, if I may add, if you ever make a deal with anybody, it's always good to have it in writing.
Exactly. But thank you so much, Moshe, for having me tonight. It was my pleasure.